What up, y'all? Hope everyone's having a good day so far. So I wanted to actually talk about something that's very personal to me, because I have dealt with this in the past in my personal life, and that is depression and suicidal thoughts. And some people used to tell me, oh, you have no experience of talking about it and you can't. But unfortunately, those have been something in my life that I thought about at one point. Now I'm completely cleared on it, where I don't have those thoughts anymore. But stuff like that can sneak up on you and just eat you alive. And I'll just give into some examples of things that can do it, and kind of give advice to some people who aren't ever having it or lived it, on how to look out for people that might be going through something. Because most of the time, someone who's depressed or thinking of suicide, you probably don't even know that that's even something going through their mind or even thinking about. It just comes out of the blue, out of nowhere, and you just end up getting completely stunned and shocked from it. But we'll start off with at least what I had was when I lost my grandmother a long time ago when I was a kid. I was incredibly close to her. And for me, and this is something that men do very, very well, and unfortunately it's not the most healthy thing for them, I ended up eventually burying all the emotion, all the feelings of it, and then tried to hide it from the world and compartmentalize it and try to just get it to where no one knew that I was hurting. And people, men especially, have a bad habit of whenever they're hurting or not really knowing how to handle something, they'll try to bury it and hide it and set it to a side and hope to just completely forget it. And sometimes you can, and sometimes you can't. And unfortunately, if you end up on the side where you can't and you weren't able to stabilize it and deal with it in a healthy manner at that moment, or at least within that time period, eventually everything will come up and make it to where you might end up to the point from just going from depressed to suicidal, because you just don't know how to control the emotion anymore, and it just consumes you and takes control. So what I would advise other people is never be afraid to see if someone's doing all right. Make sure that they're fine. If they seem to all of a sudden kind of no longer be the same person you knew, and their moods have kind of swung south, there could be something that's starting to eat them up. And if you don't really catch the signs, that person could just be going from happy to gone, or just lost in a blink of an eye. And money and health isn't always going to be what makes you happier if you can't control it. And money-wise, I could give you two names: the lead singer of Linkin Park and Robin Williams. Those guys were rich. They had it all, and they ended up still suiciding. Stuff like that, if you don't learn how to compartment, or if you don't learn how to get it out of your system, not just compartmentalize it, it will eat you alive. And if no one's there to help guide you through it, don't be afraid to go to a person you trust, or go to a shrink or therapy. Try to get it out of your system, get it out of your psyche, and help something walk through. one of the biggest things for me, I think that helped me, was I actually wound up with some health issues, ended up getting Bell's palsy. And I didn't realize that people actually did care more on me than I thought, because when I went down with it, I received more texts over that week from different people just seeing if I'm all right than I have almost in 20 years. And something like that kind of goes to show you actually mean more to people than you realize. And a lot of the time when you fall in depression, the first thing that I usually always hear, and I know what came through my mind, no one would miss you while you're gone. When you're gone, you would have, it's like you would just get in your mind and you get dead set. If I killed myself today, I wouldn't be missed. I don't think anyone would realize I was gone. And 9 out of 10, that's actually completely untrue. You would wind up having a lot of people notice you were gone probably very quickly. And you might wind up at peace, but you end up leaving a huge void in the people who cared. So, one thing I can say is, if you are going through depression or suicidal issues, don't bury it. Try to get some help. Talk to a friend. Reach out. Call the hotline. Do something that you could find a way to get it out of your system and cure yourself. Because there's a lot of people who will love you. There's a lot of people who care about you. And don't just look at it as it'll be easier for them if I'm gone, because it won't be. And it will eat you up and eat you alive. Hell, one thing that also could even help is watch some movies or shows that have the emotions of it, because those are also really good examples of the aftermath and what people feel when you're gone. Even some of the military movies where some of the loved ones die and don't come home. Look at how people feel. It's something that can really not only hurt you because of your life, but it'll hurt the people around you as well. But this is where I'll leave it off. Tell me if you guys have ever had any kind of symptoms where you felt depressed, where you felt suicidal. Don't be afraid to open up and talk and chat. Maybe you might be able to help save some people's lives if they just happen to read your comments, listening to the video and everything else, and help open up and help kind of learn how to live again. But thank y'all for watching, and goodbye.